at the waterfall in Geary County. Woo! I chose to film here today because it's a great place to view creation. And I'm going to talk really loud because the waterfall's really loud, and my helpers are going to talk really loud also. So the very first words in the Bible tell us that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In verse 3, if you guys have your Bibles, in Genesis chapter 1, verse 3, do you know what God created first? Brene, holler it.
Right.
And God said,
It was good.
yeah, so the Bible tells us, God said, let there be light, and there was. In verse 6, God said, there needs to be a space to separate the waters of the heavens from the waters of the earth. So God made a space to separate them. Does anyone know what that space is called?
Sky.
Sky is right. And God said,
It was good.
yes, it was good. And then in verse 9 through 12, God brought all the waters of the earth together to make the oceans and the seas and to create dry land between them. Then he covered the dry land with flowers, trees, and grass. And God said,
It was good.
yay! Let's do that again. And God said,
It was good.
thank you, girls. And now God paused, and he looked at the beautiful trees. Then he continued his creation. In verse 14 and 18, he created
The sun, the moon, and the stars.
and God did create the sun, the moon, the stars. They were beautiful, and he looked at them and said,
It was good.
yes. In verse 22 and 23, God created what? Katie?
The birds.
The birds in the air and the what in the ocean? The fish! We didn't practice, guys. This is just ad-libbing here. So God created the birds and the fish. He blessed them and told them to multiply so that the sea would be filled with fish of all shapes and sizes, and the air would be filled with the beautiful birds. And God looked at them, smiled, and said,
It was good.
yes! And then in verse 24 and 25, God made the what? Animals. He made the tall, skinny giraffes, the furry squirrels. He made all the livestock. He made the cuddly kittens and the big ferocious lions. Animals of every kind. And finally, in verse 27, what did God make last to take care of the animals? Does anyone know?
People?
Yes! He created man and woman, or people, or humans. And the people were made to be like God. And he did put them in charge of all that he had created. The fish of the sea, the birds of the air, and every living creature. And God said,
It was good.
yes. And then when God finished, he looked at all that he created, and in verse 31, he changed it from it was good to it was very good. Girls, let's do this together. And God said, it was very good. Thank you for helping me, girls. I hope everybody enjoyed this video in God's creation. See y'all soon.